was diving in the Poganitsia Bay cave.
We're watching this. We're watching this. We're
A
watching this.
man was
Lock in.
diving in
Lock
the
in.
Poganitsia Bay cave when
What is
something
going on?
went horrifyingly wrong. This is his story. Off the coast of Croatia, in the Adriatic Sea, is a beautiful island known as the island of Shulta. The water surrounding the island is a bright turquoise that makes the island look like a tropical paradise. With a population of only 1,700
Look at
people,
this, bro. That shit's scary. That's gotta be like.
the coves around the island are perfect for swimming, fishing, and diving in the clear, warm water. There is, however, one area that the locals try to avoid, and that area is the Bay of Poganitsia. In the native Croatian, the name Poganitsia suggests something evil, and under the bay's surface is a cave that is known simply as the Bay of Poganitsia Cave. In September 2002, a group was sailing in the Adriatic Sea and stopped in the bay to do some diving. On the night of Tuesday, September 10th,
Doing this for no
after
reason,
having
by the way.
dinner and drinks, some of the members of the group decided to get into the water at
So we're cave diving drunk, I guess. Underwater too. Underwater.
around 9 p.m. The remaining individuals on the boat included 3 members of the crew, the captain who was asleep in his cabin, and a man known only as MK. Originally from Germany, MK was a 31-year-old naturalized citizen of Croatia and worked as a cook, and around 15 minutes after the group left, MK decided that he wanted to go diving as well. So he
And
entered the
alone.
water at
Oh wait,
around
no.
9:15
Wait, yeah,
p.m.
and alone.
For his dive,
Mostly.
he was using a 15-liter air cylinder pressurized to 200 bars. He was wearing a neoprene
I'm
suit
not
and
modding
had
you.
a dive computer on his wrist to give him all of the necessary
You're
information
not
for a
trusting.
nice, safe dive. At the surface, the water in Poganitsia
Donate me
Bay
10
was
bucks and I'll
a
mod you.
comfortable 24 degrees Celsius, and MK then slowly made his way down to 9 meters to the cave entrance.
Wait.
The cave's entrance is a 2-meter wide funnel shape that
I don't
gradually
even know, but it did work.
widens down to the first
There we go.
corner.
Click on that. Send me 10 bucks and I'll mod
15
you.
meters, there is a split in the corridor that separates the cave into 2 galleries.
What does this guy do? Like,
Deep. Although not shown on the map, each of these galleries has a labyrinth of tunnels that snake their way through the chambers, making it very easy to get lost. And the
So I'm
cave
turning
interior,
around.
as with most caves, is lined with a fine silt. This silt is composed
Yeah,
of dust
I'll
and
mod you, I'll
sand
mod you
that
after.
typically lines the floor of these underwater caves, and divers have to be very careful not to disturb the silt, or it creates an opaque fog in the cave that brings visibility to essentially zero. Even with a high-power flashlight, the way that the particles scatter the light can make it difficult for divers to even see their hands a foot in front of their face. Upon reaching the split in the cave, MK decided to enter the deep gallery, which goes all the way down to 57 meters, or around 200 feet. It also has at least one straight drop that allows you to go from 35
You
meters
did
on the
not-
chamber's roof all the way to 50 meters
It would pop
in a
up.
straight line. Although MK was in good physical condition, his dive training was fairly basic, and he was also fairly inexperienced as a diver. Despite this, he went straight
And he went
from the
alone.
roof and straight down to 50 meters in a smooth, dark descent. At the bottom of the pitch-black chamber, the temperature drops a whole 10 degrees to only 14 Celsius or 57 Fahrenheit. After
That's
reaching
nothing.
50 meters, MK started to ascend right away, first back up to the chamber's roof, then into the corridor leading out, and then he made a crucial mistake. MK made a wrong turn. Instead of going towards the exit tunnel, he turned and went into the shallow gallery.
Bro, oh my god.
According to divers who know this cave well, when ascending from the deep gallery, the shallow gallery entrance looks like the exit funnel, even in good visibility. In poor visibility, like in a silted out cave, this mistake would be even easier to make. To make things worse, MK had had a few drinks with dinner, impairing his judgment as he entered an entirely unfamiliar section of the cave. This was now around 25 minutes into his dive, and with the air he had brought, he almost
How do you even like enjoy this? I don't get it. Like, how does this like make how's this fun? There's a million other things you could be doing besides this.
35 minutes of air to ascend to the surface. This would also need to include some decompression stops along the way, or else he would get severe decompression sickness from ascending too quickly. MK must have been horrified as he made his way through the labyrinth
I wouldn't even swim further than 20 feet out in the ocean.
of tunnels looking for the exit. On the surface, at 10:30, the rest of the group that had gone down returned to the boat. Upon
And they're doing it at night.
realizing that MK
What
was
are they
missing,
doing?
2 of the divers went to the cave to search for him, and they searched for over an hour before returning to the boat at 11:41 p.m., but found no sign of MK anywhere. The group knew that unless MK had found an air pocket somewhere in the cave, based on the amount of air he had taken, he would have already been completely out of air. So at 12:15 a.m. on Wednesday morning, they made an emergency call to the police in the nearby city of Split, Croatia. Later that morning, 2 police divers arrived and dove into the water to search the Pogonizia Bay cave.
I mean, I'd go like right there. Like, I might swim like right there. Actually, no, I wouldn't. That shit's
First, they
way too
swam to
dark.
the entrance at 9 meters, then entered the dark
Give
tunnel.
me a raft.
To Leo, skipping the buy one, get one means losing 50% of his savings potential.
The cave widened for a bit until 15 meters when they reached the split between the 2 galleries.
I'm looking at the chat.
Police divers were also attached together by a line to prevent them from getting lost.
I'm not
while
letting you be
searching,
mod.
But at some point, one of the divers let go of the line and disappeared into the darkness. After his partner was nowhere to be found, the other police diver frantically searched for
Let
him
go.
as he ran.
What?
And just nowhere to be divers let go of the line and disappeared into the darkness. After his partner was nowhere to be found, the other police diver frantically searched for a way out as he ran out of air.
Idiots,
Just
bro.
before
Oh
he
my
was
god.
completely out of air, he managed to find the exit funnel and escape the abyss. In his panic and because of how low on air he was, he had to skip his decompression stops and developed severe decompression sickness as a result. And the police diver who had gotten lost would never be seen alive again. It's thought that he made the same mistake.
I don't
as
know
MK
who the
did,
double N
skipped
is.
The tunnel through the shallow gallery as the exit tunnel and then got lost in the labyrinth of tunnels. And although this was tragic, the search was still ongoing for MK. There were various sections in the cave where tiny fragments of light filtered through into the tunnels. And so
Bro,
it was conceivable
he's getting
that
modded, bro. He gave me a wing on life, bro. He's getting
MK
modded.
could have found refuge. If he was still alive, this would mean that he would have been trapped for over 24 hours in the dark when divers re-entered the cave the following day to continue the search. The police
Of course, you're thinking about food. Okay.
diver who had gotten lost was found at 24 meters in the shallow gallery, and after searching the shallow gallery thoroughly, MK's body was still nowhere to be found. Divers then entered the deep gallery, and tragically, MK's body was found at 54 meters at the bottom of the cave. He was still in full gear, his diving mask was not on his head, his regular was out of his mouth, and he had a knife in his chest. While removing his gear, the knife was accidentally removed from his chest and his dive computer fell off, but they were recovered soon after and brought to the surface. Upon making this horrific discovery, the rest
Wait, is this the police or the guy?
And MK's death had to be treated as a possible homicide.
Okay, so
all
it
of
wasn't the
diving
police.
equipment
It was the
and all
guy.
dive computers from all the members of the party were collected for forensic investigation. In addition, there was
Yeah,
a
it's low-key tough.
suspicious reddish stain that was found on the deck of the boat. Police swabbed the area and immediately sent it off for analysis. Next, blood samples were taken from
Wait,
the entire
what?
crew and several knives were collected from the boat.
It could just be
Police
fish
then
blood.
administered polygraph tests to all of the crew, and all of them passed except 2 of the crew who were on the boat when MK reportedly went diving. Before testing, they were unaware
Not
that
watching
MK
idiots in
had been
cars.
found, and during the testing, the subjects reacted to the words knife and blood. After the tests, these 2 individuals were taken into custody, but no formal charges were made just yet. The rest of the party was released, but forbidden to leave the country as the investigation continued. And while police waited for the stain analysis results, all of the scuba gear was analyzed. First, they need to make sure everything was working correctly and hadn't been tampered with or sabotaged. The dive computers were tested in a hyperbaric chamber and pressurized to a simulated depth that would exceed the depth at the bottom of the deep gallery. Analysis afterward showed that each of the computers displayed the same dive profile, indicating they were in perfect working condition. And these profiles
I don't know what you mean. Do you have the attention span of like a toddler?
created by dive computers.
I'm not
tracked the
switching.
beginning of the dive, the
This is
maximum
interesting.
depth, the total decompression time, total ascent time, and total dive time. These can then be used to create a graphical representation of the dive. In addition, the computers had recorded 37 earlier dives, data that once stored cannot be deleted or changed, ensuring its accuracy. Next, the autopsy on MK's body found
Now
he
watch
was in
YouTube
good
Shorts.
physical condition before his death. He had a stab wound on the left side of his chest between his nipple and his stomach, and the
Oh.
wound was 11 centimeters deep.
Oh, yeah, he got
and
killed.
punctured his aorta. His lungs were found to have water in them,
I don't think you could do that. Like, not. I think what. Oh, did he go diving? They found him and then he like killed him.
He breathed water sometime around that he had died, which is typical of drowning. This means that it was likely that he died within 2 minutes or less after being stabbed. His blood alcohol was also 0.114. For reference, the legal limit for driving is typically 0.08. Based on all this information and the signs of drowning, MK was either stabbed and then thrown immediately into the water or stabbed under the water. The police then explored several
How are you gonna stab someone underwater though? Like, that's not easy.
possibilities about the circumstances of his death. The first possibility was that MK got into a fight
Especially because you have to go through the wetsuit too. That's
with 1 or more people for some unknown reason. MK could have then been stabbed on the boat and then thrown into the water where
the gambling stream is soon. It'll happen soon.
he lived for a few
Like
minutes.
balls on
This would
Roblox.
explain the signs of drowning around the same time he was stabbed. Now, to understand this next part, you need to understand what the graphical representation of the dive computer ended up revealing. First, it showed MK entering the water and heading down to the cave's entrance in one smooth descent. From there, he traveled directly into the deep gallery and almost directly down to the 50-meter mark. After touching down, his dive computer registered him going up almost immediately once again. After this, the graph bounces up and down
You gotta watch
between the
yourself.
maximum depth of the shallow gallery and the ceiling of the shallow gallery, indicating that he was moving around within its tunnels, seemingly looking for a way out. At some point, after the random depth changes, he ascended deeper once again to around 40 meters.
That's straight down though. That looks like he like got, because he's not going up and down. Straight
He then
down.
rested at this depth for around 5 minutes before the graph shows a descent straight down to the bottom of the cave where his body was finally found. So if MK was stabbed on the boat and thrown in right away, his body would then need to be taken directly down to 50 meters, then taken immediately back up and rounded through the shallow section, then back to the deep section where it dropped to the bottom of the cave. Technically speaking, the killer could have done this using MK's air, saving his own for the return, but what he wouldn't have been able to do was surface at 10:30 p.m. or earlier, as was corroborated by the other members of the party, unless he skipped his decompression stops and risked serious decompression sickness. Additionally, if MK had been stabbed
2D over 3D. 2D over 3D. Easily.
in the boat, he wouldn't have been able to clear his ears or his sinuses, which is typical during a descent to avoid injury. During the autopsy, this would have manifested as ruptured eardrums and blood in the middle ear canal, which was not found.
Fucking 3D. Are you kidding me? You're banned. You're banned.
If the killer was an experienced diver, they would be aware of this fact, but still might have done it anyway in an attempt to hide the body. But because of the timeline and how demanding this would have been, this scenario was ruled out. The next scenario considered was one of premeditated murder. The killer could have tied a rope to the dive computer, added a weight to it, brought it to the entrance of the cave, and then dropped it down and simply pulled it up and down to simulate the depth achieved and cover the tracks. The body could have then been placed at the bottom at any point in time, and the dive computer would have a falsified version of the events. This scenario, again, was ruled out because of how the cave is
What you know about Raven from Teen Titans? I know everything.
shaped. It's
I know
highly
everything.
unlikely that the depth
You don't know
required
ball
by
like I
the dive
do.
computer could be
You
achieved
don't know
without
ball like I
catching
do.
a rock or a ledge, which would have made the initial smooth descent down to 50 meters almost impossible. The final possibility that was examined was one where MK did actually encounter the initial two divers who had gone to search for him shortly after they got back from their dive. It's possible that one of them found MK resting under the roof of the deep gallery when MK was already almost out of air. Upon noticing the rescuer, MK could have panicked and attacked him to try to save himself at all costs. And at some point during this attack, MK could have pulled a knife that the rescuer then used to stab MK in defense. After that, the rescuer could have ascended and called the police and given the timeline of events. However, the dive computer showed that the rescue started at 10:46. This was already roughly 45 minutes after MK's dive computer had flatlined at the bottom of the deep gallery. On top of the
The stream ends when I want it to.
fact that the other rescuer didn't descend to more than 9 meters, ruling him out as a suspect. So, with all of these other possibilities ruled out, a final situation was considered. This is that sequence of events.
Oh my god.
You want to file free? Hit it.
No way, I can't skip this shit, bro.
This is you. Wait, no. This
Are you live right now? You would be able to watch me if I wasn't live.
is you. And you want to conquer the world of Albion?
On Tuesday, September 10th, 2002, MK entered the water at 9:15, shortly after the other party of divers. He then descended down to 9 meters to the cave entrance.
No, I don't
After
share what you
entering the cave, he went directly down the first corridor to reach the split-off between the deep and shallow galleries. He chose the path to the deep gallery and swam down that corridor and then almost directly down to 50 meters deep in one smooth descent. Upon touching down, MK went directly back up, possibly to exit the cave, but he seems to have mistaken the entrance to the shallow gallery for the exit. This was either due to their close appearance or due to silty conditions, reducing visibility in the cave. He then swam around the labyrinth of tunnels in the shallow gallery for almost 30 minutes, probably panicking, knowing he was lost before
I'm not streaming on Facebook. This is Twitch.
finding the corridor to the deep gallery once again. And upon entering the deep gallery, he was already almost out of air and knew that he would soon drown. He seems to have looked around the deep section for a minute or two before resting.
The
against
same
the
one as
ceiling,
yesterday.
contemplating what to do next.
The same
He
webcam
might
as
have been
yesterday.
panicking, or he might have been calm, but since no one is alive to tell the story, we'll never know exactly. What we do know is that MK was almost certainly afraid of drowning.
XC Supreme, you're not getting a fee cam. That's just not gonna happen.
Because it seems that he made the horrifying decision to stab himself in the chest to avoid it. It's unclear whether or not MK was conscious in his last moments, but he seems to have inhaled water at some point anyway, making his last moments even more tragic. It's also unclear how much alcohol played a role in impairing his judgment, or how much he was affected by nitrogen narcosis in his final minutes, but after stabbing himself, MK slowly drifted down to the deepest part of the
$5 dono and I take the socks off.
cave in complete darkness, where his body was ultimately found at 54 meters. This conclusion was initially rejected by Croatian military divers who rejected suicide as a possibility. But then the results of the stain further confirmed the conclusions of the forensic team when it was found to have just been some paint that had stained the deck. In addition, the forensic team reasoned that if it had been a murder, there would have been many easier ways to kill
Yeah, better.
someone during a dive.
It's Loki better.
First, MK could have been easily approached from behind, his regulator could have been pulled out, and he would have drowned just the same. The purge button on his equipment could have been pushed, emptying his air cylinder, once again leading to his drowning. And finally, to explain MK's actions in his final moment,
Actually, I have this like weird bump on like my elbow. It's like right here. Can you see that? Herpes. Bad.
there are plenty of cases observed where victims choose suicide over a perceived worse way of dying. For example, in the case of a burning building, victims frequently choose to jump to their death instead of what is perceived as a much worse fate, which is burning to death. So ultimately, MK's death was ruled a suicide. Contributing to his
Diabetes. Are you fucking kidding me?
death was his inexperience, the alcohol in his system, and the difficulty of the cave he was diving in. With all that being said, considering that one of the police divers even died while attempting a rescue, it's clear that the Pogonica Bay Cave lines up with the reputation given to it by locals. If you made it this far, I just want to thank you for watching. If you
Alright, low-key, I could do this. I could do this whole entire thing without a tank. I'm not even. I could do the whole thing without a tank. Like, easily too. You won't even float in water. You'll just sink. Alright. Can't even exist anymore, I guess. No, I don't.